Hi, I'm Dave Epstein. Welcome to Growing Wisdom. Today we're going to talk about container gardening. I love container gardening. I grow almost anything in containers. I have all sorts of tropicals in containers. I have vegetables in containers. And the one thing I've discovered over many years of doing this is that you can really mix things. You don't have to grow a container of vegetables. You can grow a container of vegetables with an ornamental. And you don't have to just grow a tree in a container. You could put some lettuce plants at the base of it. But if you're going to mix things in a container, there are a couple of caveats that do help. First of all, the light need should be the same. So you don't want to put a container together of a plant that needs a lot of sun and one that doesn't like sun, because something's not going to give depending on where you place it. The watering needs should be the same. That's number two. Plants that need a lot of water versus plants that don't need much water shouldn't be put in the same container. For example, you don't want to create a container of succulents and a container of tomatoes. The tomatoes tend to need quite a bit of water over the course of the summer. You'd end up killing the succulents or not watering the tomato plant enough. You want to be sure that you're adding a slow-release fertilizer to your containers a couple of times throughout the growing season. So because it's in a container, it's going to use up the nutrients much quicker than it would in the ground. So therefore, I like to recommend using a granular as well as a liquid fertilizer in my containers on a regular basis. The liquid fertilizer I generally use once every 2 weeks. The granular fertilizer I generally use once every 8 to 12 weeks. Some granular fertilizers say that they are good for 3 months. If that's the case, then just do it every 3 months. We did talk about watering a little bit. Containers tend to dry out much quicker than the ground, so you may have to water your container once or even twice a day in very hot weather. Hanging containers tend to dry out much quicker as the air is circulating around the entire plant, more than it would be if it was just sitting in a container on the ground. Clay containers also dry out really fast. I have tended to shy away from them, except for those plants that don't need a lot of water, like my succulents. If you have annuals, then at the end of the season you can put your container away. I usually put it somewhere where I take the soil out, or put it somewhere where they will not get a lot of moisture during the course of the winter. You can also move containers into an unheated garage or sunroom if they are a zone or 2 or even 3 colder than where you are. Plants in containers tend to need a little more protection through the winter than those plants which are not in containers. And finally, if you're growing vegetables, you can grow almost anything in a container. If you have a container big enough, you can grow beets, you can grow garlic, anything you can think of that you can eat. Pretty much, if you get a container with the right soil, you can grow it. So container gardening, try it out, try mixing things together. Remember, light needs and water needs should be the same. Otherwise, have fun and enjoy. For Growing Wisdom, I'm Dave Epstein.